This week is week 5 of Fantasy Help Desk, brought to you by Current Technologies. My name is Ramon Bassett, along with my partner Brennan Lambrecht.
Howdy, folks.
We are back here after another huge week of NFL action.
Yep.
And more importantly, fantasy football action.
That's absolutely correct, Ramon. We're back here after another incredible week. We saw a lot of great games, a lot of touchdowns, and unfortunately, we saw some key injuries to staple players in a lot of fantasy teams. Players such as Saquon Barkley, Kenny Galladay, George Kittle, and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah. Injuries, though, are a part of every fantasy season.
Yep.
So your success depends on how you react to these long-term injuries. Today, we're going to look at some notable injuries from week 5 and looking at some possible roster replacements.
Absolutely, Ramon. Reacting to bad news is a big aspect in fantasy football, and it's also a huge aspect in IT.
Yes.
Unexpected injuries are I liken them to unexpected downtimes. You know, they're very stressful, very frustrating for managers, and ultimately they result in a loss of production for your team.
That is why it's important to draft an IT partner that proactively monitors your network. It's like having a running back that seems not to ever get injured, and it's like having a proactive IT firm that will make sure that your week-to-week operations never go down, and they're maximized, and will always have the necessary parts on your team.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a great point. So with that said, let's get into it. Let's look at some of the big injuries from this last week, and let's look for maybe some possible long-term replacements for them.
Here we go.
Right off the bat, Saquon Barkley, running back for the New York Giants, went down with a high ankle sprain. He's listed as week-to-week, but Pro Football Doc, David Chow, he lists him as not being available till at least November. You know, that's a crushing blow for a lot of Saquon Barkley fantasy teams. For replacements, though, I suggest you look internally at the Giants. Look at Barkley's backup, Devontae Booker. He filled in very admirably for him.
Next guy up.
Yep. And it's just, if Barkley's gone, someone's going to have to get to work. It looks like Booker's in line to do it, and he should do a good job with all those carries.
Yeah.
Other places I look is Rams running back, Sony Michelle. Now he is the second stringer to Darrell Henderson, but desperate fantasy managers do desperate things. It's not like Michelle's not getting the ball. He still managed to score a touchdown last week. A couple other guys I like, maybe take a flyer on, Latavius Murray for the Ravens and Michael Carter for the Jets. Let's move on to receivers now that got injured, looking mainly at Kenny Galladay and Juju Smith-Schuster. Unfortunately,
No!
Galladay is week-to-week with the hyperextended knee, and Smith-Schuster's season appears to be over with the dislocated shoulder. Players and fantasy managers who are in immediate need of wide receiver help, once again, I recommend looking internally, specifically to the New York Giants. Wide receiver Kadarius Toney is about to explode now that the spot in front of him is open. He had almost 30 points last week after the Galladay injury. That's definitely a player to take a look at. Other receivers that I'm looking at are Rondale Moore. He's been mentioned on this show before. Marquez Callaway and Amon-Ra St. Brown are all rookies, young guys who are starting to come into their roles. Moving on to the quarterback position, Mr. Unbreakable, Russell Wilson.
Unbelievable,
Yep. Dislocated finger. I think it'll require surgery. He should be out about 6 to 8 weeks. You know, this is a position where I don't think looking internally is the answer. You know, Geno Smith came in Wilson's absence, and he performed about as well as we expected him to do. He had a 98-yard touchdown and then a pick six on the next throw. That type of inconsistency isn't fantasy QB material. I think looking at who's available in a majority of the leagues right now, there's a lot of league average options.
Yeah.
Guys like Taylor Heineke, Jameis Winston, Teddy Bridgewater. You just have to look at their matchup, who they're playing this week. You know, you're going to be on the QB carousel for a few weeks, so just accept that you're there.
Right.
Take
and
what you can get.
Just make sure you don't veto any trades that come your way.
Some drama's gone down in the fantasy league, folks.
Yes.
So thank you very much for tuning in to this week of the Fantasy Help Desk. If you guys like this content, please go ahead and let us know by liking and sharing. And if you have any topics you'd like to see us cover in future episodes, go ahead and drop those in the comments and we'll get to them.
All right, yes, and that wraps up the Fantasy Help Desk this week, brought to you by Current Technologies. Please follow us on all our social media platforms. Make sure you subscribe to our new YouTube channel, and please reach out to us for all your IT and physical security needs. Until next week, score a lot of points.